Hey guys, today we're going to be doing another drugstore makeup try-on and review, and I have the new e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream. So excited to try this out. Also their new Camo liquid blushes. So I got all the colors, and I want to do a try-on of everything, including cheek swatches of all 9 colors of the blush, and also I want to do a wear test and see how everything holds up throughout the day. So if that sounds good to you guys, why don't we go ahead and just jump right in and get started. All right, so let's start out with the Camo Hydrating CC Cream. So I ended up getting it in 2 shades. I had no idea what color to get, and the swatches on the website weren't super helpful. Usually I'm in the light shades, but for some reason the light shades looked really dark for me, and the fair shades looked like they would match a little bit better. So I ended up getting 2 fair shades. I'm hoping they're not too light, but I seem to remember with the original Camo CC Cream that all of the colors went kind of dark. I remember getting a shade that was way too deep for me in the beginning. So I'm hoping that these are going to be okay. And these claim to have a full coverage, long lasting, dewy finish. They also say that they have skin loving ingredients, tremella mushroom and hyaluronic acid. They also have broad spectrum SPF 30 and claim to be a color correcting formula. And the sunscreens that are in here are a blend of both mineral and chemical. You have the zinc oxide and titanium dioxide for the mineral, and then you have a blend of 3 different chemicals as well. I ended up getting shades Fair 120N, which is a neutral undertone, and Fair 150C. And I have to say, I think the neutral undertone is gonna suit me a little bit better. For some reason, the cool toned one looks straight up orange, and I don't know why that is. I know these are supposed to be a color correcting formula, but usually you would just kind of spot color correct with something this peachy. I couldn't see putting it all over my face, and I don't know anybody that's this color. So this color really kind of threw me. I wasn't expecting that at all. The 120N is a little bit maybe too light, but I'd rather have this than something that looks like orangey on my face. And I also ended up getting their new face brush. So this is called the Cream and Powder Face, and this claims to be a double-sided cream and powder brush that will help you achieve a soft, natural finish while applying powders and a smooth, seamless look when blending out creams. So you have the fluffy side for the powder products, and then you have the denser side for the creams. So I figured I'd just use this brush today to apply the CC cream as well. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that this is going to be their version of the IT Cosmetics CC Nude Glow, because I've really been loving that. That's been one of my favorite foundations of the year. I use that one so often. It's sort of like a lighter, slightly dewier version of their regular CC cream. I'm hoping that's what this is going to be. Oh yeah, this is really light. Oh boy, but maybe it'll sheer out a little bit and be okay. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I didn't love their original CC cream because I just felt like it looked really dry. And I like that this is going to be a little bit more of a hydrating formula, so they say. And right away, even though they're claiming that this is full coverage, I could already say that it's not as full coverage as the original one. It's probably like, I don't know, I would say maybe a medium. It also does have a sunscreen smell, so I just want to mention that kind of as I'm blending around my nose, I can smell that Telltale chemical sunscreen scent. It's not too bad, but it is definitely there. I think IT Cosmetics kind of hides the sunscreen scent with that other scent that's in their products. It's like a citrusy type fragrance, I guess. So I'm glad that this doesn't have that. It seems to be unscented other than the sunscreen smell. But so far, I think the coverage is really good. Like I said, it's a little lighter than I would like, but one pump seems to be covering my entire face. I'm just using what was left on my hand to work into my forehead. And this brush is also really nice too. It's very, very soft. It's blending out the product beautifully. So I feel like this is looking really nice so far, but I am gonna zoom you guys in and we can take a closer look once I kind of blend everything out. All right, so overall, just looking in the mirror, I think this gave me pretty good coverage. I almost feel like I don't need concealer. It even covered on my nose pretty well. So let me just zoom you guys in. We'll take a closer look. And what I'm noticing right off the bat is on my nose, it looks like it's grabbing a little bit and sort of breaking up. It seems like it's attaching itself to a little bit of flaky, dry skin that's on my nose. And I freshly exfoliated this morning, so this really shouldn't be happening, but I am noticing that as a trouble spot right away. And then also just looking at the rest of my face, I think this has a little bit more of a makeup-y appearance. If you're looking at my skin up close, I think you can see my pores and texture in certain areas a little bit more, like on my cheeks. In between my eyebrows, it just looks a little more textured than usual. On my chin, same kind of thing. But obviously this is looking at it really close up. Most people aren't doing that. But if I have to compare it to other foundations that I've been using lately, like the IT Cosmetics CC Nude Glow, or the new CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfecting Essence, or the Hamish BB Cream that I've been using lately, which is a Korean brand, all of those don't do this. They don't look like this even close up. So this is kind of making me worry just a little bit about what this is going to look like as the day goes on if it doesn't look that great off the start. But again, I think if you're just looking from far away, like my skin has really good coverage right now. It looks nice and even. So I don't know, we'll have to see, but this is making me sort of remember why I didn't like the original CC cream. I'm not thinking this is really a whole lot different in terms of the final finish of it. So I don't know, we'll have to see, but this is sort of making me remember why I didn't love the original CC cream. I feel like the final result looks very similar, even though this new formula is a little bit thinner and lighter weight, and for that reason it blends a little bit easier on the skin than the original one did. I felt like that one was really heavy, but once they're on and kind of set down a little, they don't look all that different to me. So again, we'll have to just wear this throughout the day and I'll let you know my final thoughts at the end of the video, but right now I'm not super impressed with it. So let's move on to the blush. I'm really excited for these. I'm just going to quickly show you all of the colors that they have first. So there are 9 different shades of these all together, and these claim to be a super pigmented liquid blush with a lightweight formula that blends out to a soft, dewy finish that's flattering as e.l.f. And they say to just use 1 to 2 dots on the cheeks and then blend it with their liquid blush brush, which I also do have. And I think all these colors look really beautiful. They really have something for everybody. They have some lighter, more subtle shades, all the way up to deeper and brighter, bolder colors as well. So I'm really excited for these. I love a good liquid blush. And I just want to quickly show you the new blush brush up close because I bought this as well. And this is a really nice soft brush. Again, it has those dense bristles, kind of like a flat top foundation brush, but it has a little bit of an angle to it and it's more of an oblong shape. So I think it'll be great for just getting right along your cheekbones. I actually think this is a really nice brush. So why don't we go ahead and just try on all of the colors. I want to start out with the lightest color first and then work our way back. So this first one is called Peach Perfect. And again, they just said to put 1 to 2 dots on your cheek. I'm just going to start with like 1 dot and see how this goes. And then I'm just taking the brush and patting this in. I think I need a little bit more of this one. It's kind of a lighter shade. The deeper ones, I might only need 1 dot, but with these lighter ones, they might need to be built up a little. And they did say that these have a dewy finish. So I'm hoping that they don't stay sticky on my cheeks and that they kind of set down at least somewhat. But this is a really, really pretty subtle color. I think this would be awesome for anybody who has a really fair skin tone. If you don't like blush or if blush kind of scares you a little bit, I think this is just super subtle and really, really easy to blend out. It's not going to give you a harsh look at all. And I thought this blended into my skin really nicely. These do remind me a little bit of like the Rare Beauty blushes. I don't know if e.l.f. is trying to dupe those or not. I know they've sort of become more of a dupe brand, but these are giving me that sort of vibe. So here's Peach Perfect, and I did end up putting 3 dots and layering this up. So that's about as deep as it's gonna get, I think. It's just a really super subtle color. So that's what this one looks like. Next up we have Dusty Rose, and this one, to be honest, in the tube it kind of looks peachy as well. I wouldn't necessarily call this color Dusty Rose if I were naming these shades, but that's what they're calling it, so we'll just go with it. Again, just putting one dot to start, and let's see how this one is. This one definitely is a little bit of a deeper color, so it's showing up a little bit more. So you can see like one dot of this color looks about the same depth as like 3 dots of this one right here. So you're definitely getting a lot more pigmentation with this one. I'm just going to build it up slightly. So I'm just going to do one more dot. I have to say too, they claim that these are really highly pigmented. So far, I'm not finding that to be the case. I know with like the Rare Beauty ones, you have to be super careful because you can go overboard fast. But I'm not finding that with these, at least not yet. With these lighter colors, they seem a little bit easier to manage and a little bit more sheer. So over here we have Dusty Rose. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and remove these colors. I'm gonna replace the foundation and then we'll move on to the next shades. All right, next shade that we have is Suave Mauve. This looks like it's gonna go a little bit deeper now. So again, just one dot. We'll see how this blends out. Yeah, this has a lot more color than the first two for sure. And yeah, I think just the one dot of this color is showing up really well. All right, so here's the shade Suave Mauve. I can see myself wearing this one a lot. Next up is Pinky Promise. This one looks like a really nice, fun, bright pink. So let's try one dot to start, and I'm just gonna kind of speed through the application process so you guys don't get too bored. I know you probably just wanna see the end result. I think we have a pretty good idea right now of how these apply. All right, so there's one layer of Pinky Promise. I would probably just leave it here. All right, here's Pinky Promise. And we can compare it just to Suave Mauve over on this side. Next up, we have the shade Coral Crush. This one looks like a really fun, bright pop of coral. It's not super orangey. It definitely has that little bit of pink in there as well. Ooh, this one is really pigmented, so I don't think I'm gonna need more than just the one coat here. I really like this color. I feel like it just kind of brightens up my whole face. So again, this one is Coral Crush. And then for this side, we have Bronze Bombshell. This one looks like kind of a warmer brown color. So let's see how this is. I remember loving the bronzy shade in e.l.f.'s Putty Blushes. It really surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it on my skin tone, but it just looked really nice. So I'm hoping this one is kind of the same. All right, so here is Bronze Bombshell. This one was really pigmented too, so they're starting to get a little bit harder to blend out. I think those of us with fair skin, if you're using the lighter shades, it's gonna be much easier, but if you get into some of these darker colors, they can look really pretty, but you just have to be careful. So anyway, this is Bronze Bombshell over here, and then Coral Crush over here. All right, we're getting down to the wire. So the next one is Gorge Orange, and this one is really, really bright. So I'm gonna put the smallest little dot that I possibly can. I started out kind of putting these bigger dots, but I don't know. I'm worried about this one now. All right, so let's see how it blends out. All right, yeah, I mean, that's all it took, really. I don't think I would go any further than that on my skin tone, but I do love that e.l.f. is including these deeper colors. So anyway, that's Gorge Orange. And then this one on the other side is coming in Hot Pink, and it is really hot pink. So again, small little dot. This one is a beautiful shade. If you just use a little bit, if you have a lighter skin tone like I do, that's a really beautiful cool tone pink. But again, if you have a deeper skin tone, this is also gonna work for you. Just use a little bit more, but yeah, I love this color. This is really, really nice. So again, we have Coming in Hot Pink over here, Gorge Orange over here. So here's the two together. All right, then last but not least, we have the shade Berry Well. I kind of like that they ended on an odd number because that way I'm not gonna have two different cheeks all day. Not that I'm going anywhere, but I like that I can just wear this one shade for the rest of the day, and we'll do the wear test with this one. So again, I think 1 dot is definitely going to do the trick with this one. It is really, really pigmented. So if you end up liking this color and you have a lighter skin tone, just use this very, very sparingly. All right, so here's Berry Well, also a really pretty color, although I did feel like this was a little bit harder to control than some of the lighter shades just because of how deep it is. But one thing I will say for these blushes is that they look really smooth on your skin. They're not patchy like their glow wands that they came out with in the springtime. Those were horrible. I feel like these don't lift up my foundation. They don't completely dry down to like a powder finish, but they don't feel super sticky either. They have the ever so slightest amount of just like a little bit of dewiness, but also I just applied them. So I'm thinking maybe like after half an hour, they might feel completely dried down. I'll let you guys know though at the end of the video. I'm going to come back after about 8 hours. We'll check on the foundation, how the blush is holding up. These are supposed to be long wearing, so I hope that it still looks this good at that time, and we'll go from there. But so far, I really like the blushes, not sure about the foundation yet. Oh, I also wanted to mention just with the blushes that they have a little bit of a radiant finish. So I don't know if you're noticing like a glow coming from my cheeks. If you want something that's gonna look matte, these are probably not for you because they do definitely have that little bit of radiance. I don't feel like they're enhancing my texture that much, but definitely a little bit. I can just zoom you guys in quick so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so yeah, hopefully you can see the finish in my lighting, but you see how like it kind of just enhances the pores a little tiny bit just because of like how glowy it is, but it doesn't look glittery like a highlighter, so I don't feel like it's as texture enhancing as something like that, but it's just not going to be something that's completely flat matte either. All right, so anyway, I'm going to go about the rest of my day and I will check in with you guys in about 8 hours or so. So I'll see you then. Hey guys, it's been about 8.5 hours, so I feel like we gave things a pretty good run and I just want to share my final thoughts with you and take a closer look at how everything is holding up. So right away, I think you can notice the blush is definitely still visible. I think it might have faded slightly, but it still looks pretty good. I'm impressed with the wear time on the blush for sure. I guess one thing to keep in mind is that this was one of the deeper colors, so I don't know if the lighter colors would fare quite as well because this was really intense when I first applied it, so it kind of had far to go before it completely fades, and I think some of those lighter colors like Peach Perfect, for example, I don't know if that would have held up quite as well as this, but overall I'm really impressed with the wear time, and also it did dry down pretty much all the way. I wouldn't say it's like a dry powdery finish, but it also doesn't really feel dewy anymore. It just kind of feels like my natural skin's texture. I didn't set my face with any kind of powder today. I just left it kind of with the dewy look, but I think if you set it, it could also extend the wear time of the blush too. So as far as the foundation goes, let me just zoom you guys in and we can take a closer look. I have to say I'm kind of disappointed in this. I was hoping that it would hold up better than it did, but it still looks like it's enhancing the texture, especially on my forehead. Between my eyebrows, I'm noticing those pores in that area that I normally don't see with other foundations. And also the fine lines on my forehead, I think just are looking a little bit more prominent. The biggest area of concern for me is my nose, and I hope you guys can see this on camera, but again, it was kind of like breaking up on the bridge of my nose like it was earlier in the day and kind of grabbing at some flaky skin. But even on the side of my nose, it's like it completely wore away. It looks super patchy. And I think that that's a result of this kind of sitting on top of my skin rather than really going in and sinking into it. And I actually forgot to mention when I was first applying this with the brush, I felt like the foundation was kind of sliding around on my face. I was getting a lot of streakiness, and that's usually an indicator that it's not sinking in, but it's just like a layer on top. And as you move the brush, it kind of pushes the foundation around. So I didn't really have high hopes for it when I saw it doing that. And this really just confirms it, the way that it's worn away on my nose. It's just really weird. And I can't really tell what it looks like on my cheeks because I have this blush on, but I also feel like it's not really holding up too well on my chin either. So overall, I'm not really a huge fan of the Hydrating CC cream. I just have a couple of issues with it, from the way that it's like wearing off weird to, you know, it enhancing some texture on my skin. I don't feel like it's particularly hydrating, even though it claims to be. The other foundations that I mentioned earlier that I've been using a lot, I feel like are a lot more hydrating in the sense that they plump up my skin so I don't see the fine lines as much. And if I'm seeing fine lines, that's usually an indicator that my skin is a little bit dry. So while I don't think it's as drying as the original, I'll give it that. It's better than that one, but I still don't feel like it's hydrating enough for my really dry skin. That may be a completely different story for you. It might really work out for you, but I think if you have skin that's like mine, if you have more mature skin, textured skin, if it's dry, you may want to avoid this one. But as far as the blushes go, I really like these. I'm going to continue to play with them. And as I was watching back the footage that I shot earlier today, I was kind of editing the video while I was doing the wear test. And I was watching as I was applying them, and I probably could have sheared them out a little bit better if I had put them on the back of my hand first and then maybe used a beauty sponge to apply them and shear them out a little more. I think the brush definitely is going to apply a heavier layer. So that's one thing that I would probably try to do next with some of the darker colors. But then towards the end there, when I was wearing Gorge Orange and the Coming in Hot Pink, I put a lot less product on, and I just think it looked a little bit better. So these have a little bit of a learning curve depending on what your skin tone is and which colors you get. I think if you're fair to light like me, you may want to stick with some of the lighter colors. They're just going to be an easier overall experience. If you do like the look of some of these deeper colors, just be careful with them. And then if you have a deeper skin tone, you probably don't have to be as careful, but I think overall they're super pigmented no matter what. So I do really like these a lot. I think they have good staying power. They're not patchy. They do have that little bit of a radiant finish, but I don't feel like it's shimmery or glittery, so I don't mind it too much. And I would just love to hear your take on all of these products. And if you're interested in seeing reviews on all the new drugstore makeup that's coming out, I try to get them out as soon as possible. And I have a whole playlist right here of all my drugstore makeup reviews. And I have several that I've done really recently on new products. So if you want to check those out, those are right there. And I hope you consider hitting the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.